on that mix. What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you for joining me tonight. This is gonna be a quick live. Just something that I've been pondering and thinking about. I guess welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. I don't know if I'm gonna make this a weekly thing or not, but you know, it's something. Alright, just gonna wait for some folks to jump on. Melisha, you keep coming on, but you just come on now. How you been, child? How you been? How you been? Long time, selector. I hope you're doing well. Alright. Are you still, I don't even know where you are. It's okay. Are you still in the DMV area? What you doing with yourself, child? What's up, Cassandra? Okay, beautiful. I'm glad to hear that you are well. You're well. Okay, Puerto Rico. You next door. You are next door. You know, that vitamin D hits differently, right? When it's overseas. Hi, babe. Alright, so we're just going to get started. You know, I might make these Wisdom Wednesdays a weekly thing. I don't know, but so far I'm loving it. And I just wanted to, this is going to be quick. You know, y'all know I can be long-winded a little bit. But today's going to be quick. But it's something that came up and I thought, you know, something I just wanted to share with you guys. I got my notes. It's interesting because I've been going old school with the notes. Usually I like type on the computer, but ever since I read Feel Like an Artist, recommended by Glow Graphics, I've been just taking it old school and it feels great. All right, so today, you know, I wanted to talk about, as you see, the title of Self-Awareness Isn't Change. And so I wanted to just make a clear distinction about that. You know, I really felt compelled to share this, you know, just for a few reasons. You know, I feel like a lot of us are, you know, showing up in different ways that doesn't give a clear understanding of this distinction. And oftentimes it leads us to, or it could lead us into getting stuck in negative patterns. And I'm all about interrupting those patterns because that's what allows us to break free and really step into our highest self and our fullest potential. And so, and real quick before I get started, you know, I usually share these things because I've seen them in myself, right? Or I've worked through them in some way, or I've created a new way of relating to it so that I can, you know, be the best version of myself. And that's why I share it with you guys. And so always my thought is like, okay, if I'm thinking, feeling, and experiencing this, then someone else must be thinking, feeling, and experiencing this as well. And I always believe that the more dialogue we have about these things, the more we can break free from any shame or any kinds of things that prevents us from really healing in the way that we need to. And so the clear distinction that I felt compelled to share with you is that insight and self-awareness are not the same thing. They're not synonymous. And so I just want to repeat that again. You know, insight and self-awareness are not the same things. It's just not, okay? And I'm going to break this down a little bit. And, you know, let me know if this resonates with you. If you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense and all that. We know what self-awareness is, right? You know, it literally gives us an awareness, to use the word, of something that happened. And we're like, have that aha moment, right? That usually interrupts the autopilotness of the way that we show up, right? And the way that we interact with the world. And, you know, there's a level of recognition that makes us say, oh, okay, right, yeah, that makes sense. I see that. And so we're walking around like, okay, cool, I've got this, you know, self-awareness in my pocket. I'm good to go. That's all I need, you know. Oftentimes we go off running to that person maybe we have that exchange with and be like, yeah, yo, I get it. It's all good. But not quite, right? There's always more. And Sometimes we get stuck in the surface. And when we think about insight, insight requires depth. It really requires depth in a whole lot of things, but really depth. And sometimes that depth frightens us a little bit, right? But that's where we're encouraged and challenged to lean in. And so when there's insight into a situation and the self, we understand why. And that's so important because insight helps us to connect the dots. And so when you connect the dots, that's when transformation can happen, like massive transformation can happen in our lives. And so when we're quick to hold on to the self-awareness, usually sometimes as a badge or as a sense of reward, when change requires depth. And I'm not devaluing self-awareness because that's where we all start, right? And sometimes it's even hard just to even get to that stage. But to have insight, there needs to be a space between us and the ego. The ego wants to keep things the same, right? Because when we create space for our egos to step aside and to swallow a little bit of humility, we don't respond from that primal state, and then we can connect the dots so that we can actually make changes. And so self-awareness pretty much kind of like keeps us looping, right? Especially if we don't move from that initial stage. It's like this never-ending cycle of negative patterns. And so when we have insight asks us to consider a new narrative and be open to a different way of relating to the world. And so it asks us to pause and to check in with the self, right? To receive the insight on, where is this thing really coming from? And then from there, the only thing left is to apply it, right? And application is so hard. I know. Listen, sometimes we learn things and it takes us 10 years to make that change. So I get it. But applying is hard because the application also requests us to first give it to ourselves. And this is a recent conversation that I had. I had to look at myself and be like, where the things that I want in my life, whether it's with other people, professionally, personally, and all that stuff, those things, am I giving it to myself? So for example, if you want more love in your relationships, more trust, where are you not giving that to yourself? Where is there an imbalance or an inconsistency in your life? Are there parts of yourself that you're not trusting? Whether it's making decisions, whether it's boundaries, that sort of thing. If that foundation is not there with you, then it's going to be super difficult to have that with other people. So insight requires the ego to assume some sort of humility. And so self-awareness at some point, you know what I mean? Like it becomes just talk. If we're in it long enough, we keep having self-awareness, things pop up in our relationships or just for ourselves or in our workplace. And we just keep having self-awareness. It's just all talk, y'all. You know what I mean? It's not moving nowhere. And so it's how we start, but we need to move past the self-awareness stage. Okay. And we'll get feedback. We'll get feedback from the people around us. And we'll get feedback from the universe who sends those experiences to us until we fully learn that lesson. And, after a while, people get tired of like, oh, that's cool, you get that, but what's up with those changes? So when you are aware, just to use that word for lack of a better term, when you're aware of that thing, ask yourself, okay, have I moved from aware to application, to insight to application. And then how do I do that, right? And if you need support, you could always go off to see somebody, read some books to learn how to apply the self-awareness. From there, when you get the insights, right? When you understand that, you connect the dots, seek out support and assistance to help you actually apply those self-awareness and insights to your life. I hope this resonated with you guys. Let me know in the comments or now or later. I see 100 and a clap. Appreciate you. And let me know if that resonates with you and if you found value in this, tag somebody and share it with a friend. Thank you for joining me. And maybe I'll see you next Wednesday. Look out for these lives. Take care, guys.